What's up, my beautiful freedom freaks? It's Kermit D. Welcome back to Show Me State News. Today, we're diving deep into a topic that's near and dear to our hearts: the power of First Amendment audits and cop watchers, and how important and just how scary our freedoms are when we assert our rights. So strap on your seatbelts, because we're about to get a daily dose of freak that'll shake up your world. So, are you ready? Let's get our freak on.
Freedom isn't free, it's being held for ransom. Everybody, please rise for the national anthem.
I mean, you can go by yourself down there.
Here we go.
I don't know. You gonna say anything that's worth listening to? We want to hear you defending and upholding the oath to the Constitution.
Now, you might be wondering, Kermit, what in Ozark County tarnation are First Amendment auditors and cop watches? Well, my beautiful freedom freaks, these are the frontline defenders of our precious civil liberties. These brave individuals, armed with cameras and a deep understanding of the Constitution, hold our public servants accountable and ensure that our fundamental freedoms are upheld. And then there are cop watchers, the modern day guardians of the blue. These courageous individuals monitor the actions of law enforcement, ensuring that they uphold the very laws they're sworn to protect. By keeping a watchful eye, cop watchers hold officers accountable and prevent abuse of power. It's like having a built-in system of check and balances right in the streets of our communities. Now, some might say that these auditors and watchers are troublemakers, but I say they're the true champions of our liberties. They empower us, the people, to stand up and defend our rights. They remind us that we have the power to hold our government and its agents accountable. And let me tell you, when the people rise up and flex their freedom muscles, the powers that be had better watch out. In Fort Worth, Texas, a First Amendment auditor that goes by Carolina in Fort Worth was simply doing her job. Carolina, a local resident of Fort Worth, Texas, has been sharing her experiences as a First Amendment auditor, shedding light on the behavior of law enforcement in her area for years. Unfortunately, her recent encounter left her with significant injuries. Carolina in Fort Worth was recording police officers in the course of their duties, exercising her First Amendment right to free speech and freedom of the press. But what happened next is a stark reminder of the dangers that can arise when individuals try to hold law enforcement accountable.
That's a tow truck. That's their discussion over here. They're having a discussion over here. They're saying, okay, we're going to tell this, we're going to tell that. Let's see. What are we going to do? Where'd you, I bet it's a cop car that's broken. That's hilarious if it is. Predator ones. Predator tow truck drivers. They're the worst. Do we have a black officer? That's amazing. Yay. No, it's not. It's a white guy. No, he's Mexican. What's going on? Don't say something to me. I dare you. Fire. He said we were about to tow this car off. They towing a bunch of cars off. Like that shows really like they're trying to build the entertainment district up, right? And this is a great way to do it. This is great for community relations. Isn't this a great idea for community relations to start towing people's cars? I think that's a wonderful idea. Yeah, that's the driver. These guys are staring at me like I'm crazy. It's really late for people, huh? Good to see everybody. Yeah, they're going to open up some extra parking spots. It's great. That's great for community policing. Really good. Let's see what this sign says. That's great for community relations. That shows the spirit. That's the spirit. Fuck somebody, stay up. That's great for community policing. Like they're trying to build up the entertainment center, but now you're going to tow everybody's shit. So you're going to tow this one. They did the plain view doctrine on it. That's a private parking lot. How the hell are you going to tow off a private parking lot? Are you allowed to tow off a private parking lot? Are you allowed to tow off a private parking lot? Oh, you're going to ignore me? Okay. Be a dick. You were a dick to me one other night, too. It's Mr. Dickhead. He's the only tow truck driver that's ever been rude to me besides that other one. This is nothing about, it says, the signs do not, this is a private parking lot. So, they're going to tow all these cars off on people who are still working or think they're safe. It's a private parking lot. It doesn't say any, there's no towing and won't be enforced signs. Let's look for them. Do you see any towing will be strictly enforced signs? I don't see any. So there's no signs that say towing will be enforced. What does this say? This is validated parking. It says please register upon parking. Then validate parking. Scan code and say pay. Failure to pay or extend the time may result in boot or tow. Please register upon parking. Who do they register with? Okay, here it says, here's a sign. Does anybody know how to do these? This is what the sign says. I got it scratched so let me focus in. Here's what the signs say. The signs say, validated parking. Please register upon parking. Businesses can then validate parking for Folk Street warehouses. Ways to validate. You can scan the QR code or text pay. Failure to pay or extend time may result in boots. Okay, so how do they know if they paid or not? That's what I want to know. How do they know if they paid or not? How do you know if they paid or not? How do you guys know if they paid or not? Oh, they're going to ignore me too. Help, rape, fire, 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 fire. That's great community relations too. How do you know if they paid or not, ladies? Hey ladies, hey ladies, hey ladies, hey Kruger. No, I'm not going to before. There's no FS, there's no nothing.
You can go to the other side of the street, you're going to get arrested. I'm not warning you again.
What are you talking about?
Go to the other side of the street right now.
Wait, tell me why first.
We're doing an
You're under arrest. Turn off.
No, I'm not under it. Okay, you go.
Stop resisting. Stop resisting.
Excuse
bleeding.
As you can see in this footage, Officer Kruger approached Carolina after Carolina asked a simple question. Instead of responding calmly, he took Carolina to the sidewalk, knocking her out cold, causing a head injury, dislocating her shoulder, and displacing her right eye. She was recording police officers in the course of their duties, exercising her right to free speech and freedom of press. But what happened next is a stark reminder of the dangers that can arise when individuals try to hold law enforcement accountable. As you can see in this footage, Officer Kruger approached Carolina after Carolina asked a simple question. Instead of responding calmly, he took Carolina to the sidewalk, knocking her out cold, causing a head injury, dislocating her shoulder, and displacing her right eye. And as we, freedom fighters, has YouTube channels and use our First Amendment rights under freedom of press, so do many lawyers, like the civil rights lawyer, Steve Leto, and C.J. Grisham, that is representing Carolina. Let's see what he has to say about this incident.
Okay, hey everybody, thank you for tuning in, and I'm just going to jump right into this, give you what I do know. I will tell you just up front, for those of you just looking for the bare facts are that Carolina is alive, okay? To the best of my knowledge, I don't have any specific information, but based on all my conversations with everybody that I've been speaking with, she is alive. And if she were not, I would have been able to find her in the coroner's database, and she's not there. So that's the good news. So just for a wrap up, for those of you who have no idea what I'm talking about, last night, Carolina in Fort Worth, you can go to her YouTube channel here, just type in Carolina in Fort Worth. But essentially what happened was Carolina was filming what looks like just officers in the entertainment district on 7th Street in Fort Worth were towing vehicles. And Carolina saw all the police officers there, went to go film, which is her right. It's important to note that based on the video, none of the officers had any of their lights or sirens going. They were just kind of milling around. There was no scene. There were no suspects being interviewed. It looked like just a revenue-raising operation to get vehicles towed. That's what it looks like. Obviously, I don't have any specific information there. And so Carolina was filming that. And at one point, she's trying to get some information from some of the female officers who are obviously not engaged in an investigation. And as she's doing that, the thug Fort Worth police officer, Officer Kruger, decided that he was going to do what he does best, which is assault in an aggravated manner Miss Carolina. And as she went down, you can hear in the background, first of all, you can hear her when she hits the ground. And now Carolina, if you haven't met her, she's a very frail, kind of small person. And she's also an older person. I don't mean like 80 or anything like that, but she's not young and spry. Let's just put it that way. And you hear one of the other officers saying she's bleeding. Now, I had somebody go to the scene this morning and to the hospital. So here's what I'll tell you. She is in the hospital, okay? I have been able to confirm that she is in the hospital, but the reason that nobody can find her is because she's in police custody, and they generally do not put her on the rolls for people to find when you're in police custody. That's the good news. The good news is that she's in police custody, not a coroner's custody. And that's how I know that I can say that she's alive. But I can also say that I believe it's serious because a lot of you may remember what happened to me in 2018 when I got tased and I got my head cracked on the concrete. I went to the hospital. They had to do stitches. I was there for maybe 2 hours or so to get the stitches. Once I got the stitches in, they immediately took me to the jail. So obviously the fact that I had blood on the ground and I had blood on my clothing and I was bleeding all over the police car, they took me to jail right away. So the fact that I was bleeding, it obviously they didn't think it was that serious, so they took me to jail. So here I am in the disgusting Bexar County jail with this open wound in my head that's just been kind of sewn shut. And the fact that she is still in the hospital leads me to believe this is much more serious. As a combat lifesaver in the military and someone who has dealt with head wounds and who has literally, let's just say dealt with head wounds. I'm not going to get specific in combat. I'm a little concerned because not only did the officers remark about the blood on the scene or the blood coming from her head, if you listen, you hear what sounds like a snoring, but it's not a normal breathing snoring. It's what I would consider a brain injury type of gasping for air. And it's the brain trying to essentially stay alive and keep all the functions moving after a very traumatic event to the brain. That's what bothers me about that, because I've only ever heard what I heard on that video in a combat situation where a soldier, or even an Iraqi in this case, with my experience, was shot in the head. And so she was obviously knocked out, most likely unconscious. And I don't know what the extent of the brain injury is, but at the very least, she's going to have a TBI. I do know that there's a lot of panic going on within Fort Worth Police Department, because the people I have been able to get a hold of at the police department are very well aware, without even having to look anything up. When I mentioned who I am and who my client is, they immediately give me what they know, and they're like, yeah, my sergeant will be here shortly, as if they kind of know that, or they've already been told that, hey, this is going to be a big issue. We're probably going to get a whole lot of phone calls. That's what I know. Okay. I do know that she's alive. I do know that it's probably serious, the fact that she's still in the hospital. Either that, or they're just trying to monitor her to make sure that it's not more serious. So I do think, I do have reason to believe that she's not dead, thankfully. Okay, please, if this is something that you do, please keep her in your prayers. Don't worry. This is going to be aggressively defended, and it's going to be aggressively attacked.
Been doing like different updates and trying to let people know like when you were moved and when we found out you were alive.
Yeah, I didn't even
put me in
I don't even remember.
No, it's looking at me right now.
I don't even remember being in the ambulance if I even took an ambulance to the hospital.
Okay, here we go. Looks like it's
didn't.
all right. Hey, hey everybody. I am Carolyn just got out, I guess about 20 minutes ago.
Yeah, about
something like
20 minutes
that.
ago.
About 20 minutes ago, and I can confirm that she's alive. She's right here in front of me. She needs to go home and get some rest, and obviously clean herself up a little bit. Do you want people to see you?
Yeah, they can see what it looks like.
All right. So here's our little hero here.
Me. This is what happens when you get excessive force under you.
Yep. But I will tell you that there has been an outpouring from around the country of people sharing the story, making phone calls. I think the fact that nobody's returned my phone calls means they know they're in trouble.
Yeah.
So we're going to fight these charges.
I got my arm all messed up.
So tell them everything that happened. Like what are your injuries?
I don't know. I don't remember going from the place I got injured to the hospital. I don't remember any of that. I don't remember going to the jail. So I was knocked unconscious, but I know I got stitches here. And CJ thinks I have some stitches here.
Yeah, she's got stitches in her right eye.
My elbow was knocked out of socket. My shoulder was knocked out of socket. And if you fentanyl, I'm going to put those all back together. So it's my bones of my elbow were sticking out like this. That's about it. They just used a lot of excessive force on me. I got some nice eye shadow on now. So this is what happens when you film the police and they don't like you, Officer Cougar.
Well, let me ask you also, for everybody's sake, is how do you feel? I mean, obviously you're probably in some pain, right?
I'm in some pain. I'm in a lot of pain right now.
Okay. What can people do for you? What do you need?
Just always film the police. Always film them. That's all you have to do is always film them. Always make sure that you have a record of what they do to you. Basically. Thank you.
Yeah. So I'm not gonna. She needs to get home, guys. I know you probably want to talk more. People talking about how they're crying for you right now. Hugs to Caroline. You're amazing. So it's unfortunate, guys. What you just saw. This wasn't in Iran. This wasn't in North Korea. This wasn't in Cuba. This is here in Texas, the heart of the United States of America, where you saw what her government did to her for nothing more than holding a camera and asking a question. Everybody knows what happened. That cannot stand. It cannot stand. We need to take a stand and start fighting back however we can, whatever it means. And I don't mean like picking up guns and stuff. I'm talking about doing everything we possibly can. And you live nearby, right? Mm-hmm. So you're on your way home and gonna get some rest. Mm-hmm. So
appreciate everybody.
I would probably, she appreciates everybody. She said, I would just ask you to give her some time to relax and kind of take everything in, and because this is a traumatic event. So anyway, just give her some time, guys. Let her heal, and she'll probably do a live stream when she's ready to do a live stream. All right. And she'll update you herself. I just wanted to let you know that we've met. And I will be going over kind of what our plans are moving forward. But I'm going to end this right now. I just wanted to show you the proof of life. All right. There's the proof of life. She's alive and she is in good spirits, although her body's broken. You can't, you might be able to break her bones, but you'll never break her spirit. That's who she is. All right. And a lot of people saying, we love you.
Thank you. Thank you for
Carolyn,
the support.
and she thank you for the support. We'll talk to you later, guys. Bye.
Thank you.
The incident sparked outrage in the community. The citizens gathered at a city council meeting to voice their concerns.
Statistics, specifically the East Side. But just for demonstration purposes, before I continue with this, I want to show you something. Understand, this is demonstration only. And I'm addressing the audience now. Why?
Ms. DeBrito, you can't address the audience. I apologize. You have to address the council.
That was a demonstration. And the reason it was a demonstration is that is what your East Siders feel like. That's what District 5 feels like. When I call the police, it takes up to 2 hours to get a response for dangerous crimes. And let's talk about those, because this is one of the reasons I oppose just a small amount of the money that's going for boondoggles, as far as I'm concerned. Odds of being a victim of violent crime, especially on the East Side, 1 in 201 people. That is the FBI statistics. I'm quoting directly from that. Assault in Fort Worth, 356.8. National average, 282.7. Murder, 10.5. National average, 6.1. Rape, 62.3. National average, 40.7. Every 18 minutes in this city, especially on the East Side, every 18 minutes there is a violent crime. And you want to put more money into traffic? Are you kidding me? Now let me go to the next reason I'm here. The gentleman that just spoke is right. Number 1, David Colley. Number 2, Tatiana Jefferson. And now, number 3, Carolina Rodriguez. The city has blood on its hands. I stood before the mayor sitting behind me now, the former mayor, and asked her to appoint an independent citizen-led committee to investigate what happened with the Tatiana Jefferson, whose blood was not spilled on these streets. It was spilled in her own home in front of her 7-year-old nephew. I have a report here from the DOJ, which Fed Up Fort Worth paid $3,000 in FOIA fees for, that lists officers who have had disciplinary action. I really would like to do a deep dive into how many of those officers are still on the force. Thank you.
Our next speaker is
Manuel Mata. I live in District 5, and
We got it.
I have a problem with lawsuits. where people get hurt by police officers. And
Man, this is beautiful.
I would like y'all to notice a certain police officer, because y'all didn't name him or they didn't name him. I know who he is personally because he pulled a gun on me for crossing the street on 7th Street. I just got that case dismissed. And he's not de-escalating, he's escalating. And I don't want y'all to wait until he kills somebody for y'all to step in and put him in a desk or give him paid suspension, right? Because that would be the least that we're asking. Now, she doesn't even want to come in here. And that's crazy for filming. And right here, I have this, and this was done in 2022, where it identifies auditors. It's what she is. So they've known how to do it. They've had case laws, and none of this states that they have the ability to grab a woman and throw her on the ground, split her head open, her eye and her lip. Nowhere does that in any policy, because any force that's unnecessary is excessive. Now I'm asking y'all, because I personally destroyed a wall that was in my neighborhood because we allowed a police officer, Buddy, to come in there and show us his heart. And what this officer did, the one that I took out, he built 5. So now it's harder for us to listen to what they're talking about. And it only addresses one problem. Are y'all gonna address this, or y'all gonna agree with what he did? Because that's all I'm asking. Look, Mr. Nettles, I appreciate what you asked for, because we do need to see that body cam footage, right? Because if an officer has the idea in his head that he can run around and grab everybody, because this policy, this class that they took doesn't state that. And I've read it. And they're mad at me because I understand it specifically. And all I'm doing is showing everyone else what I said 5 years ago. Y'all need to control these people, because the next one is not going to be up here to be able to be out there or nowhere. You're going to make funeral arrangements for them. He's a problem. He doesn't understand de-escalation.
Council, that's the last of our speakers on the consent agenda. We can move on to vote on the consent agenda. I can entertain a motion. Thank you. Motion and a second. Any other discussion? Any other outbursts from the audience? I have to have you removed from the council chamber. Nope, you're not on the list, Mr. Willoughby. Please vote, council. No speaking from the audience. Move, Mr. Willoughby. Thank you. Motion carries. Ma'am. Marshals, if you can remove individuals that have outbursts from the audience. Thank you. Thank you, ma'am.
They should shoot that damn woman talking.
24-0548.
Can entertain.
She don't want to hear the truth. She don't want people to hear the truth.
She can continue on. Nobody's physically obstructing her meeting. They can keep doing their votes. She can keep saying her dumb shit. But instead, she just wants to start harassing members of the public and sending armed guards after them.
From the Bush School and the JD from the University of Houston. So
they have to exert their power somehow, Jersey.
Sir, I appreciate you being here today. And with that, I'll move to approve.
Motion a second. Please vote. Marshals, I've got several removals that need to take place. This gentleman that's filming in the back needs to go. Mr. Banks, you have to go. Unless you can sit down, that would be great. We've got a lot of agenda items to get through. We appreciate your concerns, but there's a lot for the council to do today. Thank you. You can leave. Yep. Yep. You're not the media. Thank you very much. Yep. I've been called worse. Thank you so much.
Thank y'all.
Please.
However, it seems the mayor and some council members were not receptive to their pleas. These citizens who are simply exercising their rights to speak out were silenced and escorted out of the meeting before it was over. The mayor's actions raise serious questions about suppression of free speech and the right to assemble. These incidents in Fort Worth are not isolated. Across the country, we're seeing a disturbing trend of law enforcement officers and government officials attempting to silence citizens who are simply trying to hold them accountable. And as the civil rights lawyer always says, our freedoms are not free, and we will always have to fight for our freedom as our forefathers did. But in this day and age, we have a tool that almost everyone has in their pockets, a cell phone with a camera, and it's each and every one of our rights to use it to document and film interaction with your public servants. Do you need another reason to be convinced to document your interactions or someone else's interactions with the Blue Line Gang? Here are a few more updates and examples. Just recently, a Missouri State police officer was involved in a case that cost the state $9 million, letting a man drown after being handcuffed. Despite this, he was reinstated to the payroll, working for the probation and parole department. And in another case, a Missouri Sheriff's Department was caught throwing evidence in dumpsters that any person off the street could acquire. I mean, really, what the hell? These actions highlight the need for greater transparency and accountability in our justice system. It's our duty to question and challenge authorities when necessary. The public has a right to know that their law enforcement officers are acting lawfully and within their duties. First Amendment audits play a crucial role in ensuring transparency and holding officers accountable. But this incident raises serious concerns about the treatment of citizens exercising their constitutional rights. We cannot allow excessive force to become the norm, nor should citizens be silenced when they seek to engage with their local government. These events highlight the importance of vigilance and the crucial role we all play in defending our civil liberties. Remember, our freedom and democracy are only as strong as our commitment to them. Join me in demanding answers and holding our public institutions accountable. So, my fellow freedom freaks, I challenge you to join the ranks of the auditors and cop watchers. Grab your camera, brush up on your constitutional knowledge, and hit the streets. Defend our rights, expose injustice, and show the world that in the Show Me State, we won't back down without a fight. Stay informed, speak out, and keep fighting for what's right. For Show Me State News, I'm Kermit D, reminding you to stay curious and keep digging for the truth. It's clear that the fight for our freedoms is ongoing. We must continue to be vigilant in protecting our rights and holding our government accountable. Thank you for watching Show Me State News. Stay informed, stay engaged, and stay free. Remember, folks, we're all in this together. Let's stand united, stand strong, and show the world that when it comes to our freedoms, we're the bosses, not the bureaucrats. Stay tuned for more updates, and don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. This is Kermit D signing off from the Show Me State News. Kermit D out. People power.
We the people are sick of this shit. We the people are tired of the lies.